to discuss the current ISIS attacks on Kobane. Sardar Saadi, the PhD student and activist, will join us now live from Toronto. Welcome, Mr. Saadi, to our bulletin. You are closely following the latest ISIS attacks on Kobane. As we all know, these are not the first, but the heaviest attacks on Kobane region. What is your take on these attacks, and why are the regional and international community silent towards the ongoing developments in Kobane and in Rojava in general?
Yeah, my pleasure. From the beginning of the Rojava revolution, Kobane has been in the center of all the attacks by ISIS and other extremist groups. And it goes back to the very strategic location of Kobane in the Rojava region. It's located between the two cantons of Jazeera and Afrin. It's also very close to Raqqa, which is a stronghold of ISIS groups in the region in Syria. So beside that, Kobane has been the symbol of resistance against ISIS in the last 2 years. Wherever ISIS has lost in the battlefield against YPG and YPJ forces, they have attacked. They gather all of their artillery, their tanks to attack Kobane. But the resistance in Kobane has shown that ISIS has been unable so far to advance into the city. And also Kobane is a symbol of revolution and resistance in Rojava in general, in a whole. So I'm sure the imperial and the regional power, they don't want to see this resistance, which is by no means is supported by other regional powers. And we see that right now in all the news that they are talking about forming a coalition and supporting groups that are fighting ISIS, but there is no mention of the most effective forces on the ground, which is YPG and YPJ. So,
in your perspective, what kind of role could YPG and YPG fighters play in this coalition, Mr. Saadi?
I believe that the United States and its allies, they don't really care about the humanitarian crisis in the region. And we saw that in the Sanjar tragedy, that after that happened, and Kurdish forces from Rojava, they went to rescue, and they made a safe corridor for all these Yazidi refugees to go through Rojava and go back to the South Kurdistan, Iraqi Kurdistan. So I believe they don't care about that, but it's clear that ISIS has gotten out of control. So if there is going to be a coalition, because ISIS is becoming a symbol of fascism and extremism in the region, and it's going beyond any imagined brutality against people in the region, there must be a coalition that must include the YPG and YPJ forces, and without them on the ground, it's not going to succeed. And this is not about ISIS only; it's about the whole Middle East region to have the transformative solutions, democratic alternative for the future of region that's suffering on the hands of the imperial power and the regional authoritarian regimes and also extremist groups. So I believe that Rojava's solution, Rojava alternative, is really what's out there and what's must get all the attentions from international community. However, I don't believe that international community is only the U.S. and its allies. It also includes all solidarity activists, all community activists, leftist movements, and all other people who have been suffering on the hands of the imperial rule to show their solidarity with Rojava revolution. This is, as Mr. Saleh Muslim has said, this is the time that everyone who cares about the future of this region must show their solidarity with Rojava, must show their solidarity with Kobane resistance, must show and do whatever they have in their hands to stop these brutal attacks by ISIS.
In conclusion, let's talk about the media project you conducted in Qamishli city, in which you trained 9 students. Tell us please more about it and about your observations in Rojava, Mr. Saadi.
So me and a friend of mine went to Rojava region in the month of August in order to do a media project with the youth in Rojava in order to set up a media center, and to do a media production training program for the young men and women in Rojava to film, to document their own stories of resistance, their own stories of revolution by their own hands, and we just give them the tools and the trainings that they need to do this, because we believe that the people in Rojava are those that must be heard and must be followed, because they have a real alternative for the whole region. And the time that you were in Rojava, unfortunately, that Sinjar Mountain tragedy happened, and we saw how this revolution in Rojava has made such a significant move that in 1 or 2 days they made a mass mobilization of the people and our resources to rescue tens of thousands of Yazidi refugees. And also we saw and we witnessed how every single one in this region in Rojava, we went to Qamishli and Derek, but we saw this enthusiasm, this revolutionary passion between people, that everyone is involved to create a better future, a better society, a better system for their own people, and it must be seen and appreciated.
Sardar Saadi, the PhD student and activist, thank you very much for speaking to Ronahi.
My pleasure.